Hi, ladies and gentlemen, fellow traders. Welcome to another episode of Weekly Forex Outlook with Chart Engineering Pro. We really appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video, and we do not take it for granted at all. If you haven't yet subscribed or you are new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any content we post here. And also, if you find value with what we share here, be sure to like, drop your comments, share your views, and then share this video to your fellow traders or anyone who would find this information useful. So without wasting much time, let's have a quick recap of last week's setups we discussed in our previous video before we dive into the analysis for next week. We have here EURGBP. We had a setup from last week where we were expecting price to pull back a bit deeper into this area of interest to give us some confirmations, but then price actually shifted bullish on the 4 hours here. So price shifted bullish here, and then it's cleared its 4 hour structural high, and then it pulled back and gave us this possible right shoulder or possible higher low, and we got the confirmation here I think during the ACM session, and we took the trade, and then we are currently in profits, and we are almost at TP. So for the coming week, if we get a possible pullback, which might likely not happen, should we get a pullback to anywhere here or into this area of interest, we can be looking for possible buying opportunities to add on positions to continue the buy to the upside to complete this TP. But if price doesn't pull back all the way here and it goes to the TP, that's fine. We have here this setup on Australia 200, where we were expecting price to react from this area of interest. We also saw this 4 hour structural shift here. Price shifted bullish here, and then we got a pullback, and we got this bullish confirmation, or this 4 hour bullish confirmation. So we actually took the trade around here, and then price went into profit a little bit, and then came back into drawdown, and right after CPI, the trade went back into profit. So we'll be holding this trade for the coming week to the various targets we have above. If you are not able to enter this trade, this will be an opportunity to enter this trade. Should we get any higher low formation, should price pull back a bit back into the entry area or a bit deeper and gives us a bullish engulfing candle, gives us a bullish engulfing candle, we'll be interested in adding more positions to take the buys to the upside. So if you're unable to catch the initial move, you can wait for this pullback to either this 4 hour structure or a bit deeper, and look out for the bullish engulfing candle, probably on the 1 hour time frame or 30 minutes time frame, and you take your trade, put your SL where it is, and then hold to the various TPs we have above. So we have here German 30. We were anticipating that price was going to give us a pullback into this area of interest and give us a selling opportunity. So we actually got a double top formation here in the area of interest, and then price broke below and then came back for a retest within the neckline of the double top. So we actually entered this trade, and we're hoping to see that price is going to give us some moves to the downside. But looking at how most of the indexes are moving upwards, price might likely take us out. So if price does not sell, or if the market does not sell, or this index does not sell to the downside to our expected TP, we should look out for this bullish move. Should price give us a daily candle break above this structural high, we'll be interested in buys to the upside. So we'll wait for a pullback into this zone and look for buying opportunities to the upside, targeting this as our first target and then our second target above. So let's look out for these scenarios. So then if this also plays out, it can form a possible harmonic pattern. So let's look out for possible buys if this move fails. And then we had this setup from the previous weeks on GBPCAD, where we were looking for it to buy to complete this butterfly pattern. But unfortunately, the price came back and then hit our break even and then took us out of the trade. So we were out of this trade during the week. Let's look at the economic calendar for the coming week. So on Sunday, the daylight saving time is going to shift on Sunday, especially in Europe. So those in Europe, please take caution and take note of that the time is shifting back to the original time as it used to be. And then on Monday, we are going to have the Reserve Bank of Australia's governor speaking on Monday. Tuesday, we don't have any high impact news on Tuesday. So on Wednesday, we have CPI for AUD, and then later during the day, we're also going to see the Bank of Canada's monetary policy report, and then Bank of Canada's rate statement or overnight rate for the Canadian dollar. And later in the same day on Wednesday, we're going to have the FOMC for the US dollar, and we are looking. The expectations are rate cuts. We are expecting some rate cuts from the Fed, and then a possible 25 basis points for the coming FOMC. And then on Thursday, we also have the Bank of Japan's policy rate and monetary policy statement, which is on Thursday. And then USD also has advanced GDP, but because of the government shutdown, it's currently tentative, so it's bound to change. So let's look out for that. And on the euro too, later that day is we also have the main refinancing rate for euro and then monetary policy statement for euro. This is a very high impact news. So if you are trading any euro pair, you should be on the lookout for this economic event on Thursday. And on Friday, we have the manufacturing PMI for the Chinese yuan, and we also have the CADJPY on Friday, and then USD also has the core PCE price index and an employment cost index, which is also tentative because of the government shutdown of the US. So let's now dive into the charts and the setups we have for the coming week. We have here DXY. So DXY, we have been anticipating it's being bullish for weeks now, and fortunately price actually broke out of this channel, came for a retest, and has given us a weak rejection in this area or this zone. So for the coming week, I'm anticipating or looking forward to a deeper pullback. I'm anticipating a deeper pullback into this zone or somewhere here, and to see some bullish reactions from here to the upside. So for the coming week, we'll be looking forward to some pullbacks on DXY. So either this area of interest, we look out for buying opportunities, whether we're going to get some reversal patterns to the upside or some engulfing candles to confirm our bullish move to the upside. So let's look forward to that. We have here the Japanese yen index. The Japanese yen index has really sold. We had this reaction from this area of interest, perfect reaction from the area of interest, and price just kept tanking. So for the coming week, we'll be looking forward to a possible pullback to this area of interest, a possible pullback to this area of interest, and we look for selling opportunities to this very first target or the second target we have below. We had a third target, a long-term third target below, way below, but we are going to look forward to the very first and second one for the coming week. So we are very bearish on the Japanese yen index, which means most of the XXX JPY pairs we are going to see some bullishness on those pairs for the coming week. We have here Euro USD. So for the coming week, just as we saw on DXY, we are expecting price to pull back a bit deeper. So we are expecting the price is going to pull back into this area of interest to give us some selling confirmations for us to take our shorts to the downside. So we are very bearish on Euro USD for the coming week, and this can only be considered bullish if price is able to break above this zone here and comes for a retest and continues upside. But until then, we are very bearish on Euro USD for the coming week. We also have here GBPUSD, and for GBPUSD, we're also expecting the same pullback, a similar pullback back into this area of interest, this very first area of interest. Then we look for selling opportunities to the downside, and we can also look out for a pullback a pullback a bit higher to this area, and look for selling opportunities also to the downside. So we are also very bearish on GBPUSD. We have here USDCHF. So we had this setup from last week where we were expecting price to react from this zone and give us a selling opportunity to the downside to complete this one daily deep graph pattern price has made its way to the area of interest, and we are seeing some rejections in the area. So we are going to wait for more price action to give us some confirmations whether we will be interested in taking the sales to the downside, or we would look for it to buy to the upside, break this zone, and come for a retest to the upside. So these are the two zones we are expecting price to sell from on USDCHF. This very first zone and the second one. Should price break above this with a daily candle, then we'll be interested in looking for a pullback and a continuation to the upside. So if you drop down to the 4-hour time frame, you can see something like head and shoulder formation going on here. So should price pull back for the coming week, should price pull back a bit deeper or higher to give us something like a right shoulder and sell to the downside, give us a bearish engulfing candle to the downside, we might be interested in taking the sales to the downside for the coming week. So let's look out for this for USDCHF. We also have here AUDUSD. We had this setup from last week where we were expecting price to pull back to this area of interest to give us selling opportunities. So we are going to still look out for this same setup, and we're expecting price to pull back to this area of interest. Then we look out for selling opportunities, whether head and shoulder or double top or engulfing candles, whichever way that we can get our confirmations to the downside. We'll be interested in taking the sales from this zone. And then should price break above this zone and comes for a retest to the upside, then we'll be interested in bullishness for AUDUSD. Until then, we are very bearish on AUDUSD for now. We also have here NZDUSD. We also had this setup from last week where we were expecting price to pull back into this area of interest to give us some selling opportunities. Price tipped a little bit in the area of interest and then started selling, but for the coming week, we'll be expecting it to pull back a bit higher, and then we can look out for the confirmations within this zone. Then we take our sales to the downside to this particular TP we see here. So we are very bearish on NZDUSD. Should price break above, should we have a daily candle break above the structural high, then price comes back for a pullback into this area of interest, we'll be interested in taking the buys to the upside. But until then, we are very bearish on NZDUSD. We have here USDJPY. So USDJPY gave us a very nice reaction from this area of interest that we had from last week, and we were expecting some pullbacks before we can get some entries to the upside. We didn't get those pullbacks, so for the coming week, we'll be looking forward to a possible pullback to these two areas of interests. We'll be looking forward to a possible pullback, the very first pullback to this area of interest. Then we'll look out for buying opportunities to the upside, or should price pull back a bit deeper to this second area of interest or this second zone, we'll still be interested in taking the buys to the upside. If this develops, we might see a possible deep crab pattern formation, a harmonic pattern forming. So this will be, if that happens, this will be our X, this will be our A, this will be our B, our possible C, like depending on where it's going to reverse. Then we look for buying opportunities to complete the harmonic pattern we identify, a possible harmonic pattern that we are yet to identify here. So let's look out for that on USDJPY. We have here GBPJPY, which is also extremely bullish now, and it is giving us a nice bat or odd bats pattern formation here. This is a possible harmonic pattern. So this is our X, this is our A, this is our B, this is our C, and we are expecting a continuation to the upside to complete this either bat pattern, odd bat pattern, or a possible crab, depending on how price moves to the upside. So for the coming week, we'll be looking forward to a pullback to this very first area of interest and look for buying opportunities from here, reversal patterns from here, and we take the buys to the upside, targeting these various targets we have above. Should price pull back a little bit deeper into the second zone below, we'll still be interested in looking for the buying opportunities to the upside to complete this pattern. So let's be on the lookout for this bullish move. Price will only be considered bearish if it breaks below this particular zone and comes for a retest to sell to the downside. Until then, we are very bullish on GBPJPY. Sorry. We also have here CADJPY, a similar move we saw on USDJPY. So for the coming week, we'll also be looking forward to a pullback to this very first area of interest. We'll look for buying confirmations or buying opportunities to the upside, or should price pull back a bit deeper to this zone, we'll still be interested in looking for the buying opportunities. So these are various targets we have here. So TP1, TP2, is up here. So those are the areas we'll be targeting for CADJPY for the coming week. We have here AUDJPY. AUDJPY also has a similar move, which we are expecting a possible pullback to this area of interest. So we look out for buying opportunities from this area, then we take our buys to the upside to this very zone above. So let's look out for this buying opportunity on AUDJPY. Should price break this zone, close below it, comes for a retest and sells to the downside, then we'll be considering this bearish. Until then, we are very bullish on AUDJPY. We have here EURGBP. This setup was from episode 14. We had a setup from episode 14 where we were expecting price to buy or come all the way into this zone and give us some selling confirmations to the downside. Finally, price made its way to this zone. So for the coming week, this is what we'll be looking out for. These are expectations for the coming week. We'll be expecting price to shift bearish or clear this 4-hour structure and then close below it and give us a pullback into this line 0.87239, and then we're looking out for selling opportunities within this zone. If price clears this 4-hour structure and pulls back within this zone, we'll be looking out for selling opportunities within this zone. And if you're a swing trader and you want to hold this position, should price pull back to this zone, you can put your SL above this blue line and hold to the various TPs we have. So our first TP is at 0.86324 and our second TP is at 0.85569. So we are very bearish on EURGBP. Should price clear this 4-hour structure and come for a retest and continue to the downside. If that fails and price breaks above this zone, we're interested in looking for a pullback into this same area again. Then we'll look out for buying opportunities to the upside to these various TPs we have above. So let's give price some time to develop, then we can take our decision on EURGBP, whether we are going to be bearish or we are going to be bullish. We also had the setup from, this is EURAUD. We had the setup from last week where we expected price to pull back to this very first area of interest to give us some confirmations to the upside to complete this potential daily Gartley pattern. Price actually pulled back to the zone and where price was slowing down a bit. So for the coming week, we'll be expecting this daily structure to break. We'll be expecting price to break this daily structure. Should we get a daily candle breaking above this daily structure, closing above it, coming for a retest or giving us a possible right shoulder or a possible higher low, we'll be looking out for buying opportunities within here and then take it to the upside to complete the Gartley pattern above. And if this zone fails and price pulls back to this zone below, we'll still be looking out for those buying opportunities within this zone as well and take the buys to the upside to complete this daily Gartley pattern we identified weeks ago. So for the coming week, we are bullish on EURAUD. We have here GBPCAD, and then GBPCAD on the weekly perspective is now bearish. On the daily perspective is also bearish, and on the 4-hour perspective is also bearish. So for the coming week, we're expecting a pullback to this very first area of interest, and we look for selling confirmations, reversal patterns to sell to the downside to this very first TP, and our ultimate TP is going to be within this zone. And if this zone fails and price pulls back a bit higher, we're looking out for this zone as well. These highs over here, we're looking out for reactions from this zone or these highs over here. Should we get some reversal confirmations from these highs, we'll be looking out for the sell to the downside. And it should price pull back to that high or even within this zone, it will be a possible head and shoulder formation. So this will be the head, this will likely be the left shoulder, this will be the left shoulder, yes, the head, and then we are expecting the possible right shoulder to form within this zone. Then we get our sell to the downside. So we are looking out for selling opportunities on GBPCAD. This can only be considered bullish if price clears this high, then comes for a pullback and then continues to the upside. So until then, we are very bearish on GBPCAD for now. We have here CADCHF and CADCHF is very bearish, extremely bearish on a weekly perspective. On a daily perspective, it's very bearish. So we are looking forward to a possible retest or pullback into this very first zone. The price has actually tapped into it, but we want to see more price action. So we expect price to pull back a bit deeper into it or higher into it and give us confirmations to sell to the downside, and we're going to target this target for that sell move. Should price pull back a bit higher into the second zone too, we'll still be interested in taking the sells to the downside. This can only be considered bullish on a weekly perspective if we get a weekly candle break above this structural high over here. We get a weekly candle closing above, we get a retest, and we continue to the upside. Until then, we are very bearish on CADCHF. We have here Brent crude oil or the UKOIL. So last week we were expecting price to pull back to this area of interest to give us selling opportunities, but price actually violated the zone and actually pulled back to our old area of interest, which is a support now turned resistance. So for the coming week, we also had this nice rejection candle on a daily time frame within our area of interest. So for the coming week, we'll be looking out for more price action here to see if we can get a head and shoulder formation, a double top formation, or any reversal pattern developed within this zone. We'll be very much interested in taking the sells from here to the downside. And then this time around, we'll be targeting the second target. We'll target the first target that we had of that price hit before, and then we'll continue if price still gives us bearish confirmation, so gives us some strong bearish moves. We'll be interested in holding this trade to the downside or to the TP2 we have here. So this is a very nice rejection we have in our area of interest. So we should look out for some reversal patterns. Let's look out for some reversal patterns within this zone. If we get a nice reversal pattern here, we're very much interested in taking the sells to the downside for UKOIL. You have here S&P 500, and so for S&P 500, it's extremely bullish now. As we go into the coming week, as we approach the coming week, we'll be looking forward to a possible pullback to this very first area of interest, and look for buying opportunities to this very first TP or the second TP we have above. Should price also pull back to the second area of interest, we'll still be interested in looking for buying opportunities here and take it to the upside. And price might also not pull back that deep to these zones. Should price also pull back to retest this structural high, or this high, and it doesn't get here and gives us confirmations within this area, we can still be interested in taking the buy to the upside for the S&P 500. We also have here the FTSE 100 or the UK 100, which is also extremely bullish now. So for the coming week, we'll be expecting price to pull back, give us a pullback into this area of interest to give us buying opportunities to the upside, to take this as our first TP and our second TP above. So we are very bullish on UK 100. Should price pull back a bit deeper into this second zone or area of interest, we'll still be interested in taking the buys to the upside for FTSE 100 or UK 100. This can only shift bearish if price breaks below these structures and then comes for a retest and sells to the downside. Until then, we are very bullish on the UK 100. We have our last pair, or let's say assets, which is BTC. So BTC, from last week, we were expecting price to pull back into this support zone to give us some bullish confirmations to continue the bull run to the upside. Price broke below this zone and now it pulled back into the area of interest and give us some strong bearish confirmation. As you can see, we had this bearish engulfing candle on a daily time frame, and if you drop down to the 4-hour time frame, it's looking like a possible head and shoulder. So as we can see, this is the head. Sorry, this is the left shoulder, this is the head, this is the possible right shoulder that is forming right now. As you can see, even at this height, that's already giving us a strong bearish engulfing candle which is also showing signs that price might reverse from here to the downside. So let's be on the lookout for it. And this can only be considered bullish if price gives us a break, a daily candle break above this structure high. If a daily candle breaks above it and counts for a retest, then we are considering this move on BTC bullish. But until then, we are looking for selling opportunities to the support area we have here. Then from there, around 100,000 to 93,000 zone to look for buying opportunities to the upside. Thank you so much for sticking through to the end of this video. I really appreciate you for your time, and I'll encourage you to apply proper risk management to your trades and trade safe and sound. I wish you a very fruitful and a profitable week ahead. Stay safe and be good. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bell to be notified anytime we post something here. God bless you, and share the video to your friends and your trader friends as well. Take care. Bye bye. Have a wonderful week. Bye.